Yo, what's going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, back with more Everlasting Summer. So, it's been a little bit since I played last. I've been pretty busy trying to get these Angel Wings episodes out. But all's going well. As of the time of recording this, it is almost spring break. So we're getting close to a summertime ourselves here. So let's just get right back on into it. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out of nowhere. "Good morning, Semyon." "Morning." I smiled, doing my best to show that, no matter what, my morning was indeed good. "You only arrived yesterday, so I decided to wake you up. But breakfast... Never mind. Here, take this." She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. "Oh, thank you." "Now go wash yourself." I was about to leave. "Wait a second." Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it, I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. "A pioneer should always be clean and tidy." "Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew." You should do it yourself once you learn how to." "Do we have to? I'm gonna wash myself now." "Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me." "Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup." "Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things." "What lineup?" "What do you mean, what lineup?" She frowned. "It's Monday today." "Weird. By my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing." "Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we're having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late." "Alright, but where?" "At the square. Where else?" There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilets, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. "Ah, screw this," as if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag which Olga Dmitrievna gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in the towel. Tooth powder. Cute, 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. It was Slavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. "Hey there!" Oh, Ohio. What's good morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why did you come for breakfast?" "I overslept." I said it as if I was proud about it. But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches. "Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup." "Yeah, sure." As if I could forget. "Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself." She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like a couple minutes into the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches, and then head to the square. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside, as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. It didn't turn out to be the best idea, because I found Olga Dmitrievna, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. "Semyon!" I looked away immediately. "Have you heard of knocking? Get out!" Yeah, that was real clumsy. although I did enjoy the sight. Olga Dmitrievna followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it's your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the events were, this camp was far from being the worst place on Earth. But to call it home, just after one day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go. We're late. But what about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrievna kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's, but I cared about nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening. Sorry. Today's the first day of your new life as a pioneer, and you should be able to do your best so it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties, great responsibilities conferred upon him. To participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. We here are like one big family, and you'll become part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card, if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? It seems I won't get any information out of her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday? It seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, the situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you right now is to make the best of the time you will spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is, but... We came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. Is someone not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at her brave pioneer troops. Alright, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why did she tell me there are no more sleeping places? While the chief was running her mouth about our plans for the week, I stared at the people. A few heads away from me stood Electronic, a little further Lena and Slavia, and at the end of the line, Ulyana and Elisa. Everyone I had met was here. Olga Dmitrievna spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to the monument. Genda. I could not remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture too, as if he was looking around with distrust, maybe contempt, or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Slavia brought me back to reality. Olga Dmitrievna stood nearby. Still remember the plan for the week? The plan? I'll never forget the plan. Perfect. She looked at Slavia. Did you bring it? Yes. Slavia handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist. Here are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There are some clubs in the clubhouse and a musical club in the separate building. Then visit the infirmary. And finally, visit the library. Got it? Yes. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something, since I had to go to places I haven't been before. Then come on, let's start right now. But what about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck! They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast. Now I'll miss lunch too. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in time somehow. Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, if I go there, I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Alright, so we need to go to the clubhouses. There's a music club, and then... Alright, I went to the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I had never really liked extracurricular activities. At school, I used to find any excuse to skip extra classes. At university, I had no interest in participating in the student council. I wasn't interested in boxing, aero modeling, or sewing, so I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. I found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. I heard voices from another room, and then 2 pioneers appeared. One was electronic, the other one I didn't know.
Hi, Simeon. We've been expecting you.
I don't know what kind of voice I should give him. It seems he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me?
Well, of course, because you came to sign up to our cybernetics club, didn't you?
I don't know what kind of fucking voice to give this dude. Whatever. He didn't let me answer.
And this is Shirk. He's in charge here.
I assume there's only 2 of you in the club?
Well, you can say that it's 3 now.
Shirk came up to me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Now, I'll show you around. Make yourself at home.
Guys, I just wanted to...
We're always welcoming new members.
He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union suddenly started playing in my head. It's amazing. I even remembered the words. In the first grade, I had a textbook with the lyrics on the back. No, I just wanted you to sign my checklist.
Yep, you sign up to the club, we'll sign your checklist.
He grinned. I was getting ready for a long and boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia.
Ah, Semyon, I hope they're not giving you any trouble.
She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry.
I know these two. They can. Oh, I know these two. They can.
Well, actually, I just needed to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation.
No problem. Give it to me.
Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shirk.
Sign it.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
You're done. Now sign it.
She gave Shirk such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia, then I moved on in a mellow mood. Let's go check out Le Music Club. The Music Club, a small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There were enough instruments for a whole orchestra here. Drums, guitars, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period they were from, but suddenly I heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. Is that Miku? A girl. She seemed like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours in such a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak at first. Excuse me.
Ah, who's there?
She tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so.
Ouch.
She struggled out. Sorry I scared you.
It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist? You must be new here.
Ah, yes.
My name is Miku.
Oh my god, it's literally just straight up Miku. Holy fuck, what the shit?
No, really, I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother's Japanese. My dad met her when he was building. Well, it wasn't him who was building. He's an engineer. And he was working on a nuclear power plant there. Or dam? Or bridge? Whatever.
She was talking so fast that she swallowed half the words she tried to pronounce. I'm Semyon.
Great! Want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but then it'll be the 2 of us. Do you play anything?
When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it, since I quit everything that required more than a couple of hours to learn. I wasn't planning to do anything like that, really.
Oh, it's okay. I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example? How about a violin? I know it all, honestly.
There was no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast at me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now?
Yes, sure. Give it to me. Be sure to come around. I sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs, or maybe if you're not into that, something more contemporary.
Why do they have Miku in the game? What the fuck? Sure. Thanks. Gotta go now.
Of course. Come anytime.
Sheesh. The end of her sentence stayed inside. It might be nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, but in such company. I turned to leave and came face to face with Alyssa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist. Got it signed? Yes. Then move it. Alyssa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. I'll take to the library. Actually, I loved reading, but spending my days in a library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope, so I'd rather hurry up with this checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she's looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through their collection of comic books. Back then, I didn't know why they had so many, or why couldn't I take some with me. The notion of collective property was something in my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back then, the whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp, where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, then maybe. I couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest shelf. Arthur Schopenhauer, The World as Will and Representation. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act, i.e., the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this debt. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we also exist from time to time, paying with death for our birth. We always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That is a result of our stated will to live. Thus the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life holds us firmly to it, is really elusive. But just as elusive is the impulse which has attracted us into it. This attraction may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live, in its affirmation. How gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness and quiet pleasure, and mild joys for itself, for others, for all. Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. It was Lena.
Oh.
Hi. I smiled.
Hi, I just wanted to return a book.
She had the copy of Gone with the Wind that I saw yesterday.
Oh, Xenia is sleeping. I'll come back later.
I'm awake. I turned around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. What is it you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her to return her book. I thanked Xenia and went out. To the infirmary. What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health is fine. The fresh local air clearly did me some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit. I entered. A common infirmary, like my school doctor's room. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed intently at me, assessing me while continuing to write something. Well, hello, pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something... Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch. I sat down. Strep. She said all of it with an even tone. What for? To inspect, to osculate, to check on your health, you know. And by the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola. I think I said that wrong. Violetta, maybe. She turned to me. What are you waiting for, Strep? But I have no health issues. I've got this. I've got this. I neatly gave her the paper.
Later.
She took the stethoscope off her neck, seemingly like she intended to probe me with it. But then someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly. Come in. In a moment, the door opened widely, and Electronic rushed inside. Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course. What is this? I don't know what voice to give him still. Nonsense, of course. I'm okay, but Olga Dmitrievna. There's a massive bruise under Electronic's eye. I doubt that this could be a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look, she said to him. And you, pass me your checklist. The nurse quickly signed it and continued. If something hurts, come to me immediately. Pioneer. I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. That nurse is surely something else. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Olga Dmitrievna and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin, reading a book. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she was planning to turn me into. I wonder if her responsibilities extend beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Ulyana and getting involved in my morale, physical and ideological growth. Here. I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great. I could have signed everything myself if I wanted to. Perfect. So, did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason, her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club have you signed up for? I didn't. I need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow. Of course. Sure. Right. It's time to go to dinner. About time. I was getting hungry. I headed to the canteen together with Olga Dmitrievna. I looked at the sky and noticed that the sun was already setting. On the porch stood Alyssa, Electronic, Ulyana, and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about. And never call me Dvachi again, or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that. You're hearing things. He did. I heard it all. You weren't even there. I was, in the bushes. Come on, you guys, stop it. So it wasn't a football injury Electronic suffered earlier today? The nurse did a good job. I couldn't even see his black eye. Olga Dmitrievna came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Alyssa and Chizakov. I didn't do anything. She shrugged with antipathy and went inside. Right, dinner time. I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. There were a few free chairs near Alyssa across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week or two than risk my head near her. There was also a seat near Ulyana, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever crawls cuisine. Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I'll have to pick my poison. You mind if I sit here? Miku! Miku at Coachella. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, no, I don't mind. I mean, yes, you can sit here. I sat down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat and chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, not that I don't like it. But if you'd ask me, what would I prefer? Say, stroganoff beef or ragu. No, maybe just a hamburger. Or rump steak. Do you like rump steak? I'm not that picky about my food. That's the simple truth. Oh, is that so? But the desserts, you know, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I just love 48 Kopecks and Leningradskoy. Oh, sorry, I keep talking about myself. Maybe you like Eskimo better? Dinner was starting to get on my nerves, thanks to the company. And I'm not the kind of person who can just ignore someone who's talking to them. Even her. We're at the same dinner table after all. You know, I once bought a waffle cone and started eating. And then you know what? I found a screw there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those things that you tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are the ones you turn down with a wrench, yes? If there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned out by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. Rip Miku, bro. I went out and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I just sat there and watched night falling. Everything is so lively here during the day. Kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling around, constant chatter, games going on, and swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of day were swapped for silence, only now and then broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you could see things. Maybe a ghost? Or a spirit of the forest. A wild animal? A human being would be the last thing to expect. That is how it looked last night, and now. The locals followed their routine very strictly. In the day, the camp was theirs. In the night, it belonged more to the forces of nature than to humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was electronic.
Let's go play cards.
Cards?
Yep, I invented a new game. A good one.
Good? Like, how? I'm changing this dude's voice so fucking much, man.
Well, first we gotta find the cards. Then I'll tell you.
Then go find them. What's the problem?
Only Olga Dmitrievna has them, and she won't give them to me.
Why so?
Well, the last time when
Olga Dmitrievna and Slavia came out onto the porch.
Olga Dmitrievna, Semyon just wanted to ask you about the possibility of getting playing cards.
Actually...
For what purpose? We invented a new game.
Not we. You did.
What game? I need the cards to show you. I don't like this. Well, if Semyon is with you, then perhaps it's okay.
To be really honest...
We'll go fetch him together, Olga Dmitrievna.
Go get the cards with Slavia, or go alone. Let's go get the cards with Slavia, why not? If you don't mind.
Sure, let's go.
We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped.
Hey, I just remembered. The cards are in my cabin.
Good timing. And where's that?
It's just down this road. Let's go.
We reached a cabin that, in fact, looked more like a trailer.
Just wait here a minute. I'll be right back.
It took her just a few seconds to come back.
There.
She showed me a deck of pretty worn-out cards. These must be marked in and out.
That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play?
Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules.
Shall we go?
Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something. How long have you been here?
In this camp? About a week.
I see. And where did you come from?
I'm from the north.
That is...
The cold north.
She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. I tried to approach from another angle. And what do you like?
What do you mean?
Well, your hobbies.
Oh, I like nature.
Strange. She's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature? I see. Want to become a natural historian?
More like a normal historian. I was always interested in our nation's history.
That would suit her well indeed. It appeared that among all the locals, she was the one who had nothing to hide. What if she came here just like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell? I tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp?
I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me, from their work.
Another failure. Well, if you could choose.
It's nice here. I don't think I would choose some other place if I could. Here, it's like you're becoming another person.
That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean, another person?
It's just that there's so many possibilities. You can learn so much, meet so many new, interesting people here.
Now she started to sound like our chief, which raised a red flag for me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Olga Dmitrievna told Slavia.
I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good.
Slavia and Olga Dmitrievna went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Alyssa. Her gaze sent a shiver down my spine. Not a nice one. You want something? I asked carefully. You going to play this stupid game? Yes. Something wrong with that? Nope. Nothing. She was turning to leave, but then slowly looked back and smiled. So, you play cards? A little. I couldn't figure out what she wanted. So only Dirac, and that's it? As if you're a poker star. Well, yes, technically. Then you don't have a chance. Why? Because! So you know the rules? Of course! Well, then you'll have the upper hand. I couldn't see why we would go on talking and motion towards the door. Why do you keep trying to leave? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Let's make a bet. What do you mean? You're such a slowpoke. The cards, what else? And what do you want to bet on? That I'll win. That's quite a possible outcome. I agreed calmly. So, are you afraid? No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets when I don't like my chances. And you're not big on taking risks, too. Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right, then I. No, you're not. Now what? I sighed in exhaustion. She was starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about some pointless bet. If you don't bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me. What? You heard me. I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? I've been here less than 2 days. Besides. Want to try your luck? Right. And what will happen if I win? I won't tell anyone anything. And if I lose? Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I told you already. So you're telling me now that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something, when I didn't actually do it. If that's how you want to look at it. Not a simple decision. On the one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. Then again, can I even trust her? She can do it even if I win. So, have you made a decision? I was going to answer, but suddenly Lana came out from behind. What? What?
Nothing.
Lana hurried inside. So? Fuck you, bitch. I'm not betting that. So basically, I mean, like, the way I see it, nobody's gonna fucking believe her anyways. Like, she already has a bad enough reputation. Who's actually gonna believe her? No, I'm not gonna participate in your shady business. Sorry about that. You wuss! She shrugged and went up the stairs. Before she went inside, she flung at me. Prepare to face the consequences! Consequences? What if I made the wrong decision? After all, she can really complicate things for me here. On the other hand, I just couldn't allow myself to be pulled into something so reckless. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. Inside, everything was ready. A few pioneers stood here and there, chatting. The tables were moved out of the way to make room for players and spectators. I looked around. Something was going on in the far corner. When I came closer, I saw a large piece of paper with a diagram drawn on it. My name was among the players. And who came up with all this? I patted Electronic, who was standing near. Well, of course, he was your most humble servant. He bowed to me jokingly. This made me uncomfortable to the point of squirming. And why in the world am I among the players then? I was disappointed. A few seconds ago, I thought I still had a slim chance to evade this tournament. Then I wouldn't have to fear Alyssa's revenge for not betting with her. But now that hope was gone. It was pure coincidence. Yeah, right. Coincidence. Except that I was already acquainted with every one of the contestants. Well, there were a few dozen other pioneers standing in the room. I was seized by anxiety. It's the feeling of being watched while standing in an empty room with no windows and doors. Will there be a prize? I asked him lazily. I wanted to distract myself with a pointless conversation. Electronic was just about to answer when Ilyana came out of nowhere and started jumping around him.
Prizes! Prizes! I heard something about prizes!
Do you know what is the main ethos of the Olympic Games?
A what? No.
You'll understand when you grow up. She made a wry face and jabbed Electronic in the ribs.
So what about the prize?
Well, I don't know. It's not up to me. He made a helpless gesture. Really, if they came up with this stupid game, at least they could give the winner a chocolate medal or something. Ilyana suddenly jumped and raced off to somewhere. I wished I was that optimistic. So, what about the rules? Wait a bit. Not everyone is here yet. I looked around the canteen. Alyssa, Slavia, Lena, Miku, and Shirk were here. It seems like everyone is here.
Not everyone. Xenia isn't here.
Does he feel uneasy, or is it just me? She's not here, so what? Pick someone else instead.
No, I can't do that.
He answered slowly. I decided not to ask exactly why he can't do this. Well, go fetch her or something, I don't know.
He can't go. He's the host of this... He can't go. He's the host of the event.
The camp leader appeared as if from nowhere.
But Olga Dmitrievna...
Electronic whined.
Semyon will go. Right, Semyon?
She looked at me and smiled. Of course, who else? Where is she?
In the library, I guess.
Okay. I dragged my feet towards the door.
Please hurry.
What's Electronic's problem anyway? Night is coming soon. I was going to take my time, so I slowly paced towards the library. But I found Xenia before I even expected. She was sitting on a bench at the square, staring at Genda, who was silent as always. What are you doing here? Everyone is looking for you.
Sitting here, as you can see.
She frowned. Well, let's go. I don't want to. She looked away. Why not?
I don't want to.
I sat beside her. Listen, I don't like the idea of this contest myself, but we can't let everyone down. I surely didn't sound like myself there. A couple of days ago I wouldn't have even thought of saying something like that. Xenia looked at me with surprise on her face.
So everyone is waiting for me?
Isn't that exactly what I said?
Yes. I won't go anyway.
She frowned and hid her face.
But why?
I gestured with my arms, wondering.
I don't know how to play cards.
So what? Same problem here.
Then how can you play?
What, you can only do things that you read about in books or something?
Of course.
She was surprised. And what if you end up in Antarctica and you have to rely on hunting polar bears to survive?
Polar bears don't live in Antarctica.
Xenia smiled. Doesn't matter, it's just an example. Come on, it's not like someone's life depends on the result. She took her time to think.
I just don't want to let anyone down.
Right. I agreed sarcastically.
And don't you think anything funny about that?
I didn't get what she meant, but anyway. Obviously, everyone has their weak spots. In a minute, we both were back at the canteen. Everyone looked at Electronic.
So,
he cleared his throat.
Each round consists of one game. In case of a draw, you replay the game. After this, the loser drops out and the next round begins. Since the number of volunteers...
He looked at me.
Since the number of players is just 8, we'll have only 3 rounds. Is everything clear?
The crowd cheered.
And what are the prizes? The prizes, what are they? Ilyana, cut it out.
Slavia stepped forward and tried to catch Ilyana.
I won't rest until the prize is mine.
Seemed like this girl alone had enough energy for a warp jump to Alpha Centauri.
Prizes, prizes!
She repeated it over and over.
Stop it!
Slavia tried to reason with her. Electronic seemed to be getting dizzy from all this running around. Let's start already, I said calmly, and added to Ilyana, or you won't get any prizes. Looks like my argument got through to her, so she took her place. Slavia followed her, giving me a grateful smile as she passed. The pioneers finally settled down. I approached the table that Lena sat behind. You don't mind? She looked up and blushed. Don't worry, I don't know the rules myself. And how can I be sure that it's not only myself? I sat down. Turns out we'll have to play the first round together.
Yes.
What was that voice?
Yes.
Finally, Electronic started to explain the rules. Let's play the tutorial.
Look at the cards carefully. There are exactly 6 of them in front of you. I hope everyone here knows how to count.
That was me.
Now you can look at them. After everyone had a look at their... I can't fucking think. I can't read.
After everyone had a look at their cards, Electronic moved on. The rules were similar to playing poker.
The rules are similar to poker. I hope everyone knows how to play.
I knew the rules, but wasn't so sure about the others.
First of all, it's a top card, then 1 pair, then 2 pairs, then 3 of a kind, and so on. No flushes or straights, though. In the first round, you choose a card which you would like to take from your opponent. In turn, your opponent can choose to swap out 2 of his cards around twice. Or he can choose not to do so, if he doesn't need the card which you're taking. Take a note here that your opponent can see which cards are trading places. In the next step,
Your opponent takes a card he chooses, and so on. I think it's pretty clear. It wasn't too clear to me.
Hey you, Einstein!
Alyana yelled at him from under her table.
I didn't get a thing.
You'll figure it out as we go. Electronic went to the table with a diagram, leaving Alyana to smolder in solitude. You go first. I hoped I could get my mind around the game fast enough. Lena, more perplexed than usual, reached out for my cards. In the middle of the table, her hand stopped.
Will you...
Oh, yeah, I should be protecting my card. What was it that Electronic said? To try and confuse my opponents, I can swap 2 of my cards. Twice. Or I can choose not to. Should I protect it or not? By the way, I can also agree and give her the card she chooses straight away. Otherwise, Lena can change her mind and take another card if she wants to. I don't fucking know, bro. Yeah, go for it, man. I don't know. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Hold up here. Okay. So, for now, we're gonna save the game there. Boom, save game. Alright, so we're gonna save the game here, and we're gonna pick it up in the next episode. So, I still don't understand how the hell that little card game works, but I guess we're just gonna have to basically bet on luck. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then a like would be appreciated. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or if you're interested on anything else that you've seen on the channel. Yeah. See you guys next time.
Don't rain on me.